Whether we make it a conscious decision and we understand what we're doing or not, we're all on a path of some kind. Some are in business and they have an ambition for where they would like to be 10, 20 years from now. Others simply have a relationship. They kind of vaguely hope that they'll live happily ever after. And we all have this sort of sense of here and now isn't exactly the fullest expression of potential. And those of us that make this into something deliberate and intentional, we're approaching the whole thing of pathworking. Now, you could be just doing it without any specific goal. You might be a spiritual person and you do your meditations, you do your spiritual practice, and you just think that you'll be moving closer and closer to the goal of happiness or enlightenment or something. But if we look at this rather more deterministically and we say, look, there is such a thing as walking the path, and we'll do work on ourselves in order to walk that path in a better way. And better is perhaps your decision. It might be more joyful or more happier. It might be quicker. You might want to get where you're going at an accelerated rate. A very good definition of what pathworking is has been given by Sharon Coleman.
Yeah, I was wondering whether we would be on the same page with pathworking. So for me, it is the journey that you go through from the consciousness that you have now to the consciousness that's available to you.
Why are we using Magick to make this journey from our current level of consciousness to our potential level? And the answer is that the Magick works. It's designed for the purpose. A lot of people have stumbled into Magick and they haven't really studied it in a disciplined way. A lot of other people use the word wrongly. They don't actually understand what it is, and stage magicians are entertaining with the illusion that they create, and it's just not quite the real deal. But the real deal works. It's like anything else. You study it properly, you think about it clearly, you take some guidance, you read some books, you can make it work. And what we're doing with this sort of series of pathworkings is using the number 7 to determine exactly our series of paths. It doesn't have to be 7, that's just a personal preference. And for example, the Tree of Life, a very well celebrated book of wisdom in diagrammatic form, has any number of paths, well, a specific number of paths within it. I think it's 22. And you can move from one state of consciousness to another measured with their symbol system. So that's one example of a pathworking system, and there are others. In this case, we have 7 paths, which makes it rather simpler to understand, and they're well defined, very well defined indeed, because of the 7-word system. And because of the 7-word system, we know about the 7 planes of consciousness. So we're basically saying there are 7 basic conditions in life. Earth plane, physicality being on top of it all. Astral plane, the plane of mind, imagination, dreaming, thinking. The plane of love, harmony and beauty. Developing the heart, and so on. Now we've got these to study very clearly within the 7-word system. What we've done is applied that 7-word system to the Elven star and had relationships between the points of the star. And if you walk from one point of the star to another one, a specific other one, then that would be a path. And the star has 7 paths linking 7 particular points. And we go from the first point to the 4th, then to the 7th, then to the 3rd, then to the 6th, then to the 2nd, then to the 5th, and then back home to the 1st. And that makes a star shape. If we relate those numbers to the 7-word system, then 1 to 4 would be no, hello, thanks to goodbye. That's how the 7-word system works. So we've got a path from no to goodbye, and another path from goodbye to yes, and another path from yes to thank you, and so on. And we have names for these paths. And if you study the 7 words and you get into the kind of the mood of it, the state of it, and you understand what the difference is between the word no and the word goodbye, the difference between goodbye and yes, you embody this, then you can actually walk. And that could be a physical journey. You could actually lay the Elven star onto the floor and walk that path. Or it could be in your mind. It's okay too. And these paths clearly have state changes associated with them. So the first path is the path of power. If you move from the state of no, strong condition of self-identity, authenticity, and you move out from that state, which is rather like an ivory tower, it's very defended. If you move out of that state into goodbye, then you start to bring influence to the world. And this is called the path of power. And then from goodbye to yes would be the path of soul. From yes to thank you would be the path of joy, and so on. So we have 7 different paths associated very clearly with 7 different points in the 7-word system. And we have other associations that we can add as well to deepen the resonance that we feel with each of the particular points that we're walking from and to. And this is pathworking. It's just training ourselves, body, mind and soul, to journey from one state of consciousness to another. And that can actually be built up to make an unconscious shift, so that whenever a situation comes to you in life, you experience something, you just move into gear and you deal with it, whatever it is, because there are only 7 things going on. If you look really deeply into the whole of life, there's only 7 fundamental things that we have to learn. And so we train ourselves to learn them so well that we almost flinch into the resourceful state automatically. Something happens, we come at that thing with the appropriate resource, and we just then cruise through life. It's great. Try it.